Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we will discuss the very basic about education, that is meaning definition and its types and nature. So this session will be beneficial for those who have just entered their higher studies in the field of education and those who are preparing for NET, as well as for others who wants to revise and broaden their concept of education. So this will be the topics that will be covered in this session, that is the meaning of education, the definition of education, the types of education, and the nature of education. So first we will look on the meaning of education. So the word education has been derived from four Latin words, that is educare, which means to raise, to nourish, or to bring up. Educare and educo, these two Latin words has the same meaning, that is to lead out or to draw out. And educatum, which means to train or to teach. Thus, etymologically, the word education has three meanings, that is to bring up and nourish the child, to train the child, and to draw out the inner potential of the child, of which the bringing up of the child depends on the environment, which is related to the sociologist view of education that give more weightage on the social environment. And next is to train the child, denotes that the child to be immature and novice, and it is related to the empiricist view such as John Locke's concept of tabula rasa, that considers a child's mind as a blank slate. So according to tabula rasa, the child's mind is blank and empty, and it is only through outside education and outside training that the child's mind can be developed. And next, to bring out signifies that there is an existence of some inner qualities and inner abilities of the child that can be bring out through realization, motivation, and support that the child may need in his or her life. So here support is also consists of also considers the education process. So next is we will look on the meaning of education based on ancient India. So ancient India was a period of Vedic education and Buddhist education. So during ancient India, the meaning of education was derived from four Sanskrit words. That is Shiksha, Vidya, Vinaya, and Prabodha. So Shiksha is the Sanskrit word that is derived from two Sanskrit words, that is Shik and Sha. Shik means to learn, to recite, and Sha means to discipline, to teach, to instruct, or to control. Thus, Shiksha means education, which denotes the act of teaching, training, instruction, and to have control with oneself. So the word Vidya has been derived from Sanskrit word vid, which means knowledge and scholarship. Thus, Vidya refers to correct knowledge, which cannot be contradicted, and which is the knowledge gained by self through intuition. Next, next is Vinaya and Prabodha. So these two are also Sanskrit words, but it has also been used in Buddhist education, which was carried out through Pali language. So Vinaya means to lead out. Thus, Vinaya means the drawing out or the leading out the inner inborn powers of the child. And Prabodha means awakening and enlightenment. Thus, Prabodha means to awaken and enlighten the potentialities of the child through teaching and learning. So now we will look on the meaning of education in the West. Plato in his book Republic pointed out that true education will have the greatest tendencies to civilize and humanize people in their relation to one another and to those who are under their protection. So he talks about civilizing and humanizing the entire human being, and then entire human being and the society. And in the words of Robert R. Rush, education is the enhancement or enrichment of personalities and the embodiment of universal values. So he talks about enhancement and enrichment of the human personalities. Next is Kant. He says that education is the development of the individual of all the perfection of which he is capable. Thus, education, according to Western thought, is the process of development, that is the gradual and continuous progress of mind and body through which a child acquires knowledge of the environment, physical development, linguistic abilities, knowledge of individual and collective relationships, intellectual development, moral aesthetic development, among others. So now we will look on the definition of education. So I have taken this four, but there is more than that. But the first definition taken by me is the definition given by Mahatma Gandhi, which says that by education I mean the all-round drawing out of the best in child, man, body, mind, and soul. So the definition given by Mahatma Gandhi says that education is education should develop the body, mind, and heart of the child and make a child not just intellectually superior but also spiritually and mentally enlightened and healthy. That is to attain the equilibrium between one's mental, physical, and spiritual life. So this is so much broader. The definition given by M.K. Gandhi is very broad. It is beyond the formal system of education. So next is definition is given by James Driver. He says that education is the process in which and by which the knowledge, character, and behavior of the young is shaped and molded. So according to him, education is not just the process of imparting knowledge, but also the process of character and behavior formation among the Young. And next is John Dewey's definition, which says that education is the development of all those capacities in the individual which enables him to control his environment and fulfill his possibilities. So he talks about education being a process that helps in the development of such kind of capabilities and adaptive behaviors which helps human beings to adjust and control his own environment, and also fulfill his or her possibilities and responsibilities as a human being as well as a member of the society. So next we will look on the definition given by Swami Vivekananda. He says that education is the manifestation of the divine perfection already existing in man. So according to the definition given by Vivekananda, uh, the man is born as noble, and that it is through this education that such perfection is attained. So now we will look on the types of education. So these are the three types of education that has been given by Combs in 1973. He says that for formal education, he says that it is the hierarchical structure, chronologically graded educational system running from primary school through the university and including, in addition to general academic studies, a variety of specialized programs and institutions for full-time technical and professional training. So according to him, formal education is very structured and hierarchically arranged, which starts right from primary till the university level, and it's also include professional courses among in addition to general academic studies, for example the liberal courses. So next, for in non-formal education, he says that any organized educational activities outside the established formal system, it is outside the school and colleges. So whether operating separately or as an important feature of some broader activity that is intended to serve identifiable learning clienteles and learning objectives. So according to him, non-formal education is such kind of education which is very organized, but it is given outside this formal education. That one, for example, schools and colleges, it is given outside this school and colleges, but it is very organized and it also have learning objectives. So for not informal education, Combs says that the informal education is truly a lifelong process whereby every individual acquires attitudes, values, skills, and knowledge from daily life experiences and educative influences and resources in his or her environment. Like, for example, from family and neighbors, from workplaces, from the marketplace, from the library and the mass medias and all. These are the sources of informal education. So next we will look on some of the examples. So here we will see the examples of formal education are school, colleges, universities, training institution. The examples of non-formal education are distance and open education, adult education, summer institute, and some mass media. And informal education examples are family, peer societies, playgrounds, and also mass media. So mass media is has both the component of non-formal education as well as informal education. Non-formal because, for example, we have this radio channels such as Gyan Vani and Vidya Vahini, which was launched in 2001 and 2002, which was entirely dedicated for the education purpose in order to deliver education with a certain objectives. So this will come, this even though it is a mass media, it will come under non-formal education. And even we have educational satellite, which was launched in 2004 in India, and there's many other such as Swayam courses. It will also come under non-formal education. So, for example, mass media as informal education are those movies and films. So there is one more, that MOOC courses, massive open online courses. These MOOC courses has components of three of them, like formal, non-formal, and informal. How? I will tell you how. So no, as a formal education, MOOC courses are like those blended courses, such as according to new NEP 2020, 20% of the courses in the university will be provided through MOOC courses through SWAYAM platform. So that 20% credit will be carried out by the individual of higher education from the SWAYAM platform, and that will lead to the certification and credit addition. So that will come under formal education because it is incorporated and blended in the formal system. So that such type of MOOC courses will fall under formal education. And non-formal MOOC courses as a non-formal education are those courses through which you can enhance your career and you can get extra knowledge. For example, there are various courses after which completion of which you will promoted for your job. So those courses that are available through MOOC, but it will help in enhancement of your career. It will come under non-formal education. And informal education, such as there are courses such as there are Coursera and edX and so many other MOOC courses, which you can directly avail just for the sake of your interest, and there is no other extra benefit. For example, there is courses for learning guitar and all. So this will be like, for example, I want to learn a guitar, then uh, I can avail that MOOC courses, but it will come under informal education. So these are the examples of these education types of education. So now we will look on the nature of education. So this is the last topic that will be discussed in this session. So the nature of education is like it is a lifelong continuous process, because it starts right from the womb and then till the tomb. So even in informal education, it has been said that education is a lifelong process, which we will get through our peers, our family members, in our marketplace. So even if after the ending of your formal education, your informal education will still continue. That's why education is known as lifelong continuous process. So it is a dynamic and progressive in nature. It is dynamic and progressive because education system keeps on changing. We know that during our ancient time, our education system was different, and now it is different. So it keeps on changing. Even the learning style and teaching style keeps on changing, and new information keeps on adding. That's why it is dynamic and progressive in nature. So next is it encompasses formal, non-formal, as well as informal education. That I have already discussed, and it is both theoretical and practical in nature. So education is both theory and practical. So we cannot just go to the practice without knowing the theory. So it is both theory and practice. It is both complementary to each other. And next is informal sense. Education is very systematic and purposive in nature. So education leads to development of the individual as well as the entire community. So we all know that in a community where there is more educated people, even the society, there is an upliftment of the society. And next is it leads to behavioral modification. Yes, we know that education helps us to modify our own behavior and reflect on our own actions. And next is it helps in social adjustment. Yes, even educated people are more understandable. They have empathy, and they can understand, and they do research before commenting on someone and judging on someone. So this will help in social adjustment, and it leads to attainment of goals. Yes. And next is enrichment of the experiences. Yes, education helps us to enrich our experiences. Next is it education involves instruction as well as training. Yes, that is also true. And next is it develops the adaptive capabilities of the individual. Yes, educated people are more adaptive, and they can uh, mold their environment. So next is, as a whole, education is all round development of the child. Yes, that is true. So this is all for today. I hope you have learned many things, and also you have revised some of the things. So thank you all for listening, and see you all in my next